Hello YouTube and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome to my channel. This is your girl Sherika and today I am making these scrumptious, delicious apple turnovers, apple patties, apple tart, whatever you want to refer to them as. We're making them today. So if you're interested to know how I created these, please stick around. Let's go ahead and get into it. Alright my lovelies, so let's begin with an ingredient check. So we're going to be starting with our dough, of course, because we're going to have to put our dough in the fridge for about 20 minutes. And to make our dough, I have here some really cold butter, and I'm going to be using a stick and a half of this butter. I have my salt. I'm going to be putting a little sugar in the dough, and just so my dough isn't just plain white, I'm going to be giving it a little color, so I'm going to add a little yellow coloring. And of course our main ingredient is our all-purpose flour. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and begin with our dough so we can get that in the fridge, and then we'll move on to our apple filling once we're done with the dough. Okay, move things around a little bit. So as usual, all measurements will be placed in the description box, so be sure to check down there. Okay, so we're just basically adding our dry ingredients to the bowl. We don't want too much of that coloring, okay? And we're just going to be cubing our butter in here. And you guys must be saying, wow, that's a lot of butter. In case you didn't know, pastry is one of the most unhealthy things you can eat. It is packed with so much fat and calories that a lot of people don't know. Anyway though, the trick to really great pastry dough is to ensure that your butter and the water that you use to bind the dough is extremely cold, okay? So I'm going to be working the butter into the dough right now, and I'm just going to be using my hands to do so. This butter is a little hard because it's really cold. Consistency, we're going to move on to adding some water. So before I add my water, I'm just going to be digging a little well in the center here. Okay, now to ensure that my water stayed absolutely cold, I actually have some ice cubes in here, but we're not going to be throwing the ice cubes into the dough, of course. Okay, so I'm starting with a little bit of water and I'm going to be working my way. Okay, and guys, this would be so much easier if I had a food processor, because I could just put all of my dry ingredients, my butter and everything in the food processor and just allow it to do its thing, and I would be able to skip this step. And of course, as you're kneading your dough, you want to ensure to pick up all the dry pieces of flour that's in the bottom of the bowl, okay? our dough. What we're going to do here is flour our surface a little bit and add our dough to it. And let's get ourselves cleaned up a little bit, get rid of the water and stuff. Alright, so we have our dough here. We're going to go ahead and roll it out. I think I might have to do this in 2 sections to make it easier. Let's roll out this part first. So once we have it rolled out, we're gonna go ahead and just give it a little fold, sticking a little bit, just fold it up. And it really doesn't matter how you decide to fold it. And what we're gonna do is take some plastic wrap. We're gonna be wrapping it in here. And we're going to be putting this in the fridge to rest. So I'm going to be doing the same thing with the other piece. And again, I'm going to go ahead and fold it. Fold it. Fold it. Our saran wrap. I have both of my dough pieces and into the fridge they're going. Okay? Alright guys, so we're going to be moving on to our apple filling. Now guys, I want to apologize. In the first section of the video when I was dealing with the dough, after I was finished, I realized that the camera was a little too high, and I do apologize for that. I'm still working on getting this right, guys. Bear with me. Anyway, let's get into the ingredients. So I have here 3 Granny Smith apples, and I doubt I'm going to use all 3. I think I'm going to only use 2. I'll see the quantity when I'm finished cutting them up. Then we have some essence, some cinnamon, a little nutmeg, the butter that's left over from the dough, and I don't think I'll use all of it, and some sugar. Alright, so the first thing first, we're gonna have to get the skin off of our apples, and of course get rid of all the impurities that's in the apple. Everything have to go. Everything. Don't want all that trash. Alright guys, so I finished cutting up 2 of my apples. Well, I'm finished peeling 2 of my apples, I'm sorry. So I'm gonna start cutting them up, and then I will know if I need the 3rd one. This is based on the amount of dough that I have. So I'm just slicing them like this first into strips. And then we'll take a few of the strips and just start slicing them smaller. Now this doesn't require any neatness. You can cut them how big or how small you prefer. You don't even have to cut them the way I'm cutting them. You can get creative with it. I'm just transferring them to a bowl as I cut them. Alright guys, so after cutting up the two apples, sorry, I think this is enough for the amount of dough that I have. So let's move on. So to the apples, I'm going to be adding some of the essence. Cinnamon. The dash of nutmeg, and sugar, and I'm not using too much sugar because the apples are already sweet and I don't want this to be an extremely sweet apple tart. Okay, so now that we've added all the ingredients, we're just going to be giving this a stir. Alright, just a rough stir, and we're going to be taking this to the stove with our butter. Alright guys, so we're at our stove and I'm going in with half of our butter. And once this butter is melted, we can go ahead and add our apples. And you know guys, this already smells so heavenly. And judging from the consistency, we need the other half of our butter. Throw that in here. Alright guys, so we're not going to be cooking this for too long because we want most of the cooking of these apples to be done in the oven. We don't want soggy apples. Well, I don't know about you guys, but I like my apples to still have some crunch when I'm eating my tarts. Yeah, so this is about it for our apple filling. Yes guys, we are back and we are ready to get our pastries rolled out and stuff them with our apple. I went ahead and beat an egg, and that's what we're gonna be rubbing them with. So let's get started with rolling out our pastry. Now when you're going to roll out your pastry, you don't unfold it. We're going to be rolling it folded. And I'm trying to keep it in a square shape. So I'm just pressing it. Alright, let's go. Make sure your surface is well dusted with flour. You don't want it to be sticking too much. So we don't want to roll out our dough too thin. So I'm going to be leaving it here, if you can see. And guys, please don't laugh at me, but I don't have a cookie cutter. So I'm improvising today with this bowl. And I'm just going to be cutting my pastry into little squares. Here we go. So that is one square. Go. Alright, so we're going to take one of our squares, and I'm actually making these into triangular shapes. We're going to take some of our apple filling and put it in the center. And then we're just going to take our dough and fold it to meet the other side. Now, to avoid these from opening up, we're just going to tip a little water on the edges. That helps our dough to stick together. Close it. And then we take our fork, dip your fork in some flour if it's sticking, and we're just going to be pressing. And there we have it. That is our first apple tart. I'm going to just be putting a little slit in the top. Adding some of our egg wash, and I'm only adding this egg wash here now because I want you guys to see it, but I'm actually going to be adding the egg wash to the others on the baking sheet. I'm going to have to clean up this surface before I do any more patties. And following the egg wash, we're going to be dusting with some sugar. So guys, this is our first patty, or apple tart, apple patty, apple tart, whatever you want to call it. This is our first one, and I'm going to be transferring it to our baking pan. So I'm going to go ahead and clean my surface. I'll be right back. So I cleaned away any bits of egg that would have fall on the table. And I'm just flouring the surface again. And we're moving on to another patty. And as I said, we're going to be adding the egg on the baking sheet, okay? guys, so here they are, ready for the oven. I'll see you guys when they're finished baking. Alright guys, and here we are. They have been completed and they're beautiful.